Teeny Gamer here, and here is the mandatory commentary video. So yes, as you see here, this is just a normal commentary video, like I always do on the channel. So if you don't know the main structure of these commentary videos, it's basically just me commentating over my runs, mainly the first run that I did, because, well, I don't give my usual titles on these spiral abysses like I usually do on 412. So yeah, the reason why I do the commentary videos is to basically give tips and tricks and also my advice on what to do on these floors. That is the main reason why I do them. So yeah. But as for the teams that I used on floor 11, as you see here, the first half I used a double Geo double Pyro, aka just Navia, Navia Hyper Carry. And then the second half, I ran the Raiden Hyper Bloom team. So yeah, I just wanted to showcase how powerful these characters are, and Navia just shows. I am also going to be saying this, Navia didn't crit as much as I did, and by the way, she has basically 60% crit rate. Yeah, 60% crit rate, by the way, and she cannot crit for crap, which is really, really bad. But Navia still pulled through on these Abyss runs just because of how much damage she basically dishes out. Even with non-crit, she does a ton of damage. So yeah. But the first half and the second half are basically the same floors for Chamber 1. It's because, well, they are just mainly big enemies that just want to attack the monolith. By the way, they are aggro towards the monolith by default, so you want to basically defeat them as fast as possible before they, well, wreak havoc on the monolith. So yeah, that is the main advice that I'll give you guys. So with that being said, run a crowd controller. So Venti, Kazuha, Sucrose, any character that basically has crowd control, you can just do the Chamber 1 first half and second half, which is crowd controllers, and then you can just basically get the 3-star clear as easy as pie. But if you are a experienced player, you can just run a your hardest hitting team. So whether it be Hyper Bloom or Navia, basically any team that can deal with these monolith chambers are fine, as long as you defeat the enemies fast enough. But as for just casual players or players that are trying to beat the Abyss for the first time, you can just run animal supports. That works well. But mainly, in the end of the day, you just want to basically kill as many enemies as you can in the monolith floors, and make sure to not hit them at the monolith. So yeah. But here is the second half, or not the second half, but Chamber 2 of the first half, which is just mainly just a bunch of enemies. So as you see there were 3 shield enemies, and then the last 2 enemies are just ruin graders. So yeah, nothing really special here, just nuke them down fast. Yeah, that's basically it. And here is the second half of the chamber, which is just a rogue and then a earth guard ruin drake. So yeah, again, it's just like the first half, just nuke them down. Since they don't have that many gimmicks, you can just literally just wail and then win if you do have a strong enough team, of course. So yeah, that's mainly what floor 11 is. You just run your best teams. There's really nothing for me to say other than, yeah, just run your best teams and nuke down the enemies as fast as you can. And here is Chamber 3. It's the same thing here. Nuke them down as fast as you can, because the only 2 opponents here are just these 2 robots. So yeah, again, nuke them down. Like always. Of course, you can run animal support as well to make things go faster, since they do crowd control. Again, as I said, Venti, Kazuha, Sucrose, anyone who can do crowd control is fine. But yeah, they mainly just want to just dish out as much damage as possible, and then just defeat the enemies as fast as possible. And the same applies to the second half of Chamber 3, which is the Jade Plume Terrace Room. If you know the mechanics behind it, then you know how it works. Pyro, Electro. Just bring those elements and you should be fine. Pyro basically makes it so that it doesn't do the big attacks. And Electro just basically makes it go hyper, and then once it goes hyper, you just wait for it to fizzle out, and that's it. So yeah, that is basically floor 11. And now it's time to transition to floor 12. So I'll see you there. Alright, so here we are in floor 12. This floor is pretty easy, actually, if you do have really strong teams. It is probably one of the easiest floors that you could basically do. But as for the team explanations here, I ran Navia, double Pyro, and then as for the second half, I just ran an Ayaka Freeze team. So yeah, it's not the Ayaka Premium Freeze team. Well, it is, kind of, because it's all 5 stars, but it's still a freeze team regardless, since, well, it's just Cryo and Hydro. So yeah, but the main reason why I wanted to run Navia and Ayaka and not run any other team on the second half is because, well, they both share the same banner. So yeah, Ayaka and Navia are out together at the same time. So yeah, that is the reason why I ran Navia with Ayaka in the second half. But yeah, but here is your enemy lineup for the Chamber 1. So here we have the Perpetual Mechanical Array, and then on the second half we have a Thundering Manifestation. These two enemies are from Inazuma, and these two enemies are pretty easy to deal with. And by that I mean you could literally just DPS your way through this chamber really easily. So yeah, as for Perpetual Mechanical Array, the fight doesn't start until it goes to its second phase, with basically it's dismantling it itself and then just spawning these 4 robots here, as you see right there. You want to go for the one that is basically glowing or circling around with insignias, and once you do that, taking it down, which is right here, it should happen. Yeah, there we go. Now you attack the main body, which is exposed, and you basically get to wail on it for free. So yeah, that's mainly what you have to do for Perpetual Mechanical Array. You have to get it down to a certain amount of HP before it starts doing its second phase thing. Once it does its second phase thing, you just deal with the glowing robot. Once you deal with the glowing robot, you can go back to the main body and then just wail on it and deal as much damage as you can before it gets back up. So yeah, that is mainly the main strategy for Mechanical Array. And here's Thundering Manifestation. The way to deal with this boss is to not do electro damage, aka don't bring electro characters. If you don't bring electro characters, then this boss is pretty easy. The only annoying thing that it ever does is teleport around and move around and also deal attacks that basically annoy you, like the Electro Pillar or the Electro Walls that it basically spawns. Yeah, anything that is annoying. You can easily dodge them, of course. Like that, you see the cat or the Electro Pillar. That's also one of its more annoying attacks. But the main attacks you want to watch out for is that Electro Pillar, since it does really travel really fast, and the Electro Wall, because if you don't dodge or if you don't sprint and use your invincibility frames, you basically can get one shot. Yeah, it is very possible to get one shot on the Thundering Manifestation, but if you are careful with its most dangerous attacks, then you should be fine as well. But yeah, that is Thundering Manifestation. Just bring your strongest hitting DPSs, other than Electro, of course, since it is immune to Electro, and you should be a-okay. And here is the Chamber 2 first half. You have to deal with a Construction Specialist, in fact, Penuma reaction. Yeah, this works well for Navia, of course, because Navia does Usia. Ruin Guard, and then a Ruin Grader. So yeah, you have to deal with these types of enemies. So yeah, it is 1 by 1, so you have to deal with the Specialist, then you have to deal with the Ruin Guard, and then at the end you have to deal with 2 Ruin Graders. It's not that bad. Really, it's really not that bad. It's just a glorified nuke fest. You want to nuke them as fast as possible so you can get to the second half really fast. But yeah, that's mainly the strategies for most of these floors. or most of the chambers, my bad. You just have to deal as much damage as you can and just DPS your way through. Just ignore everything, DPS your main, or DPS your way through the whole game, or the whole floor, and you are basically fine. So yeah, this floor is literally mainly for Navia, since Navia is a main hyper carry DPS. So yeah, this is just a big damage floor through and through. And as for the second half, you have to deal with a variety of Geo enemies. And what Geo enemies are those? Those are Vishaps, Geo Slimes, Geo Specters, and then a Stonehide Lava Churl at the end. By Stonehide Lava Churl at the end, I mean 2 of them. So yeah, first you have to deal with the Geo Slimes and the Specters, then you have to deal with these 2 Vishaps, and then afterwards you have to deal with the 2 Lava Churls. Yeah, it's pretty fun, right? But again, if you can basically immobilize them, aka freeze, you can basically deal as much damage as you can and then just wail on them. You can also run another DPS team as well other than freeze. You don't have to run freeze, obviously, but it's what I ran. But again, as I said before, this floor is mainly used to basically test how much damage your DPS deals. It's because it's a DPS floor. Yeah, because all these enemies are just big HP enemies. You just have to deal a lot of damage to them as quickly as possible. Yeah, that's mainly the main gimmick behind floor 12. It's just big HP enemies. Yeah, there's really nothing to it. And speaking of big HP enemies, here we are in Chamber 3, and in the first half is the Hydro Tulpa, and in the second half are 2 Lava Churls and then 2 Eremites. So yeah, you have to deal with those. So, the Hydro Tulpa, this is the first time we ever saw it. Of course, it was in version 4.2, but it is now here to stay in 4.3. So yeah, Hydro Tulpa. The main course you want to deal with on the Hydro Tulpa is to deal with the minions it spawns. So yeah, you want to deal with its minions first before you deal damage to it. Don't do what I did, which is just wail on it until it dies. You want to basically deal with the minions it spawns, because if you deal with the minions, then it gets rid of its damage reduction. So yeah, don't do what I did. Just please don't do what I did. I just basically wailed the ever-living crap out of this thing and hope it died. So yeah, again, I will say it for a third time. Don't do what I did. just deal with the minions first. But other than that, if you are brave like me and just keep wailing on this thing, it'll eventually die. It is just literally a big HP sponge. So yeah, deal with the big HP sponge to get to the last part of the floor, which is Chamber 3 second half, with 2 Electro Lava Churls and then 2 Eremites. So if you already know how to deal with Lava Churls, then you know how to basically how this works. They love to dash, they love to do a bunch of stuff, they love to do elemental damage to you. Yeah, it's basically very simple, really. It's just deal with them as fast as possible to get to the second part of this chamber, which is just the Eremites. And again, the Eremites are also pretty easy to deal with. They spawn their pets. You have to deal damage to the pets until basically they become vulnerable. So yeah, once you get them to a certain amount of HP, or basically once you get them to, I think, around 80%, they start to spawn their pets right here. As you see there, there's the serpent, and right there is the scorpion. Once you deal with those, they basically become vulnerable, and then you can deal damage, because once their pets are up, they basically have damage reduction. So you want to get rid of the pets as fast as possible so that you can get rid of their damage reduction. And once you get rid of their damage reduction, as you see there, they are basically dead, done and dusted. So yeah, that is basically it for the commentary video, as you saw there. Yeah, it is really easy, as you see there. The only difficult things that I could possibly point out on this floor is the Hydro Tulpa, if you don't deal with the minions, of course. Again, as I will say, don't do what I did, just deal with the minions first so it doesn't have damage reduction. And I guess the Eremites if you're not careful, but other than that, this floor is really easy. Yeah, there's really nothing for me to say except run your best team ever and deal with the floor as fast as possible. So yeah. But anyways, if you do like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Any amount of support is greatly appreciated. I love getting support because it basically motivates me to make more videos. So if you want to see more videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you do subscribe, be sure to turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single upload that I do. I upload Genshin videos once a week, but it is inconsistent. So if you want to basically know when the videos are up, make sure to turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single upload. And also, comment down below, what do you think of this Spiral Abyss? Do you think it's easy? Do you think it's hard? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you not agree? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching this Genshin commentary video, and I'll see you guys in the next Genshin video.